Hey guys, sorry if my voice is not feeling up to snuff right now. It's because I woke up really early to record this video. Main reason being is because I actually am going to be super busy today and this is really the only time I can record and I don't want to go 2 days without making a video, so just hope you guys don't mind, but I think it should be fine. Alright, so welcome to another MapleStory 2 class review, and today we're going to be covering over Thief. I'm sorry for taking so long to make this. I've just been juggling my time as best as I could, so it's been rather difficult to get a proper time to train up a Thief. Although I didn't really train him, I just AFK played music for like 15 hours. Even though I did stand by Thief being a bad class, I think I at least should have done them the favor of covering over in terms of why I think it was a bad class. So yes, everyone who watched that class's video and did call me out, saying that I was doing an injustice to Thieves, I do wholeheartedly agree with you. That was a bit immature and I do apologize. So I do plan to make it up to you guys by having a structured Thief review. Once again, just to reiterate this in every review video, this is not a guide, this isn't a how to play, this isn't a should you play or any video of that type. It's just my honest thoughts and more importantly my first impressions on the class. But that is the point of a review, not supposed to be some sort of expert, it's just mostly meant to be like a first impressions or what kind of experience they impart on you, so that's kind of what I'm doing. So right now I'm going to say that I and probably many others have misjudged Thieves in some regards, but we're not exactly entirely incorrect in others. Playing around with my Thief for a little bit became gradually more and more interactive, and I definitely detect a mildly high skill floor and an even higher skill ceiling. Thieves are dual-wielding dagger classes who specialize in fast and quick attacks in the form of diving in and ducking out many times, kind of like a hit and run. As you know, rogues like Assassin and Thief are not really your straightforward fighter. Due to their lack of defensive qualities, they do have to rely on superior speed to avoid damage, which usually attributes to their high skill cap, since classes like Knight and Berserker, they can afford to be a little bit more reckless, while for rogues, that's certain death. While I still think Runebladers have the most creative sword skills in the game, Thieves can also be just as interactively entertaining due to how many offensive abilities they have. They have two gimmicks, either a fast and furious approach that involves lots and lots of finessing and equal amounts of damage, or the poison gimmick that involves stacking dot damage for either extended combat or burst. For the sake of this video, I went the poison build since I was told that build is a bit harder to execute. In a gameplay sense, Thieves are extremely high risk. They have some of the lowest attack ranges in the game, if not the lowest, and they also have rather laughable defense just like their sister class Assassin, but despite their main damaging abilities having point-blank melee range, the Poison Vial skill lets you throw it from a safe distance in case you need some time away from the action. Currently, Thieves are a rather underwhelming class, and despite the community's rather fervent hatred for them, which is exaggerated, I do stand by the fact that Thieves are in fact not that fantastic of a class right now. But don't click off the video, hear me out. Let's start with their skills. Thieves have a very detailed kit, more so than other classes, which attributes to, I guess, their appeal. At a glance, Double Slash, their basic attacking skill, looks just like your standard attacking skill, but it has a chance to activate Cunning, which is a passive skill that grants a huge boost in movement speed and empowers certain abilities for extra effects. If you continue going down the left tree, you're entering the Poison build, which is better suited for long sustained fights since damage over time is incredibly powerful in very long dragged out fights. What I do enjoy about this is that Thieves sort of became a spiritual successor to the Fire Poison Mage. Fire Poison Mages could create clouds of poison gas but also detonate them at the same time, consuming the clouds but dealing huge damage. Thieves have this as well since their skill Surprise Attack does more damage based on how much dot stacks you have, so you have kind of a proverbial execute skill. The rest of Thieves' kit is to supplement their hit and run playstyle and more importantly to replenish spirit. If not managed properly, Thieves can be probably the most energy cost intensive class to play. But so you don't completely run out of spirit, Thieves have a multitude of skills that recover spirit apart from their Mind Stealer and passive skills such as Cunning Tactics, Retaliation, and Quickstep. The reason Thieves have so many is because they're a fast-hitting class that involves using multiple skills to dish out effective damage. If you look at a Berserker, they don't use that many attacks outside of Groundbreaker, but regardless of which build you use, the Poison build or the Haste and Vicious Cuts build, you're going to be seeing a very empty spirit bar most of the time unless you're really good at micromanaging. Even though Thieves have a lot of ways to kite enemies and escape danger, they aren't without some form of defense, called Meso Guard. You probably remember it from Chief Bandits back in MapleStory 1, where you essentially spend Meso to offer added protection to your rather suboptimal bulk. But don't rely on it to face tank, I wouldn't do it. Otherwise, just rely on dodging as much as you can. Unfortunately, there are some attacks that are targeted so you can't avoid them, so just get a lot of potions ready. A good aspect of Thief is that from a regular gameplay standpoint, they're pretty fun. Decent mobbing, fast movements, and interesting playstyle that doesn't entail you standing in one place in perpetuity, so they can definitely be quite an entertaining class. And I know you guys might be thinking that I'm contradicting myself in the what class should you play video when I said that Thieves aren't fun, but it's not their kit or playstyle that isn't fun, it's that their performance isn't very good. Therefore, if you don't play well, you'll most likely end up feeling pretty useless. Thieves are an entirely selfish class, they provide none, and I repeat, absolutely no party utility whatsoever, which means the only thing they can contribute is damage. If you look at the sister class Assassin, they also provide little to no party utility, but they make up for it with range superiority and fast critical hit DPSing. Assassins have to work for their spot in raid parties as opposed to a wizard or ranger, since those two have a party buff skill, but they don't have to jump through flaming hoops to do so. Thieves on the other hand are at a severe disadvantage for two reasons. They're a melee class with very short range and abysmal defense. Even if you can dodge, there are some attacks you can't avoid. You will have to tank a few, and they can hurt quite a bit. And second, their damage is conditional. Conditional damage often rewards players who can properly capitalize on it. I know you guys hate it when I take examples from League of Legends, since those two are fundamentally different games, but this one is quite relatable to Thieves. If you look at most assassin champions in League, they often have contingencies to their damage, such as you have to take out the target alone, or you have to be at maximum range, or you have to use an ability first, etc. Should you meet the criteria of those contingencies, your efforts are rewarded in the form of most often doing more damage, right? But if you fail, your damage can be very low. That's also kind of the same for Thieves, in that to maximize your damage output, you have to play the class almost flawlessly. These are arbitrary numbers. I'm not saying it's statistically correct, but this is how I think Thieves are doing in terms of the numbers department. Thieves can do anywhere between 60 to 120% of their total damage potential. So if you play Thieves poorly, you'll be operating at 60% performance, a 40% loss. But if you play Thieves incredibly well, you're at 120% performance, which is a 20% gain, at which most point Thieves can actually exceed Berserkers, Assassins, Wizards, Rangers, and Heavy Gunners DPS-wise. But notice the problem here. For intensive amounts of effort, Thieves will only reward you with a 20% gain, yet your potential loss is 40%. Classes that are high risk, high reward with a huge skill ceiling are definitely great in the community, such as Runeblader. Runebladers have similar circumstances that Thieves do, pretty short range, low defense, and apart from honing runes, they're for all intents and purposes a solo class. But if you play them poorly, you're operating at like maybe 90% capacity. But if you play them well, you're sitting at a comfortable 110% or so. Not that much gain, but you're not taking that much of a loss either. But Thieves aren't high risk, high reward. They're high risk and medium reward at best. The benefits of the class you get are not worth the amount of energy and time you have to put into the game to learn it. Like so many hours you'll have to learn just to micromanage their abilities. Now everyone who's going, the only reason you don't like the class is because you're bad at playing it. Dude, it's MapleStory. This isn't Counter-Strike or this isn't PUBG or Overwatch. I want you to think about it for a second. What can a thief contribute to a party? Only damage, right? And if the ratio for damage is 60% to 120%, once again, these are arbitrary numbers, not statistics, but how many thieves do you know who can reach that 120%? Probably not many. Consistency matters more in MMORPGs because MMOs are mostly PvE, not PvP. In PvP games like MOBAs, a person's mechanics are heavily rewarded, but in PvEs, why risk a potential 40% loss for only 20% gain, when you can just settle for a class operating at a consistent 5% gain, like Wizard? It's all about numbers right now. Yes, I do think Thieves are a very interactive class and actually kind of fun if you play them well. But the catch is you have to play them well. There's no maybe you play them well, you have to play them well. Other classes like Berserker and Wizard, you really can't tell the difference between a good one and a bad one, right? But on a Thief, you can very easily tell. Normal and hard dodges don't have a DPS chart on which player is doing how much damage, but in Chaos raids they will. And even if a Thief is operating at 120%, they're maybe on par with Assassins at best, or like maybe just a tiny bit better. Anyway, my main point is that Thieves can definitely get some work done. I don't disagree with that. Thieves can be a very powerful class if you play well. But the cost to payoff ratio is just too high right now. Nexon is fortunately buffing their numbers since even they acknowledge Thieves could use some love, but at the current moment I would say Thieves are just not good enough of a class right now. Though there is one thing that changed upon me playing the Thief class. I think I might enjoy playing this class more than I thought. If Nexon buffs Thieves to be mid tier or like even high tier, I think I might even main this class. I can see it being very, very fun. In regards to Thieves' strength early, mid to late game, they suck early, they're pretty bad mid, but then once they reach late game I think they can be pretty top tier. Just gotta give them more damage, that's all you gotta do Nexon. Right now, in terms of overall rating, I'm sorry, but they get a paltry 4 out of 10. Players can still master Thieves and turn them into a great class, but it's inefficient and impractical. You can play literally any other DPS class right now and do more damage than a Thief for only 10% of the work. I really hope Nexon does buff them, because as much as I think Thieves are underperforming right now, I get so many comments about how players get discriminated from parties and stuff just for being a Thief. Like regardless of checking their damage or like even looking at their gear, if they see a Thief icon they kick them out of the party. And no matter how bad something is, it should never be so bad to the point where parties are actually kicking them out. That's like literally racism for classes, and that's just mean, that's rude, that's not what you want to do in a community, that's not what you want to have in a community. Anyway, that should be it. I would normally say hope you guys enjoyed, but I can guarantee a bunch of Thief mains will hate on me for this video. But remember, this is a review after all. I don't have any personal bias against Thieves and I don't play Thieves pretty well. But I've talked to people who either play Thieves or know friends who are Thieves, and we all drew to kind of the same conclusion. Thieves can be very powerful in the hands of a good player. but the amount of hours you'll have to spend just to be slightly better than every class is just not worth it. If it was like instead of 60 to 120, if it was like maybe 90 to 140, that'd be even better. If you have any requests for classes, just let me know in the comment section below and I'll make a review on the most upvoted comment, and I hope you guys are looking forward to the next video. Take care.